Okay, guys, hello. Welcome to our little special conversation here at TEDxNewYork. My name is Nick DeCosemo. Here I am, like a evil cartoon villain over there with myself. I'm the global editorial director of a music media brand called Mixmag Media. We're here to talk specifically about a year-long project that we're about to embark upon, which is, we'll call it Shifting the Diversity Dial in Electronic Music. So anyway, I'm going to start. I'm going to get the panelists to introduce themselves and just give us a little bit of a background about who they are. They've been selected because they represent different elements from this industry and culture that we love and cherish. So, Julia, if you want to go first.
Hi, I'm Julia Willinger. I work at Mom and Pop Records doing A&R. I've worked in music for 12 years now, mainly at record labels, and my experience in electronic music started when I was working at XL Recordings, and then now at Mom and Pop with artists like Flume, and previous at XL like Subtract.
Hi everyone, I'm Cakes Da Killa. I'm a artist based in Brooklyn. I've been making rap and like electronic music for maybe like 5 years since I was in college, a long time ago. I'm originally from New Jersey and I'm a Libra.
Hi, I'm Katie Longmyer. I'm from DC. I am the co-owner of the Brooklyn Electronic Music Festival, which is a 9-year running music festival across 10 venues in Brooklyn every year. I also head up Experiential Translation, which is an ad agency led by Steve Stout.
Okay, great. So yeah, I just want to kind of, I mean, for the opening question, I know you guys have got a lot of things that you want to say, but just an opening question to get things started. You know, I think, like we say, our industry was founded on diversity. Do you think that that's still the case now, or what do you see as the potential problems or issues that we have with the way the industry works in 2016? Katie, Cakes.
I think creatively what I would say is, because I don't really work behind the scenes, I'm just an artist, but I see a lot of like creative upstreaming as far as like a lot of people who are like tastemakers and that actually create the sounds that you all hear kind of become taken over by like mainstream people, so that kind of becomes kind of corny. I think that's one of the things I see a lot. Yeah, I just wish it was more like in college where you have to like MLA cite your sources, because we wouldn't have things like, Sean Paul saying Drake doesn't really cite his like reggae sources, or when you like watch an Apple commercial and you hear like a crash or like a ha, and then it's like, this is not something new. So I just think it was more like people would cite their sources more.
And I think going back to what you mentioned about, like, is it still birthed from love and that sort of culture? I think when anything becomes mainstream, that can become diluted, but it comes down to the artist, right? Like why they're making it, what they're trying to express. And some people will bring that out in that artist, and some people will try and dilute that. So, but yeah, anything that becomes more of mainstream culture, you're going to lose some of that essence. And I think in electronic, it's now in the mainstream, so a lot of it varies.
In the case of the Smirnoff and the Smirnoff Sound Collective, this was actually their initiative. They came to us with this idea. It wasn't the other way around, and they're very cognizant and very sensitive of not disrespecting this scene or kind of over branding stuff or trying to put everything on it. They understand the value in kind of celebrating what we do and kind of trying to support people where they are, but that's not always the case, and I think that's where kind of things can get a little bit tricky. Katie, I'd be interested. So you run the Brooklyn Electronic Music Festival. So it would be nice if you could maybe talk about that a little, because it's quite an exciting initiative, and particularly with, I guess, how you go about booking artists and how that process works.
We looked at the Detroit Dance Music Festival as an inspiration a lot when we were thinking about what we were doing, because there's a lot of music genres and culture that came out of that city, and that was happening in Brooklyn. So we really wanted to celebrate it. So we sort of did it from the inside out, so to speak. So we went to the talent first, not to the community who was buying the tickets. We said, what are you excited about, and what do you want to play, and who do you want to play with that maybe you've never played with before? What format do you want to use that you've never had the opportunity to explore? And we collaborate with them. Every room, we book, like 10 rooms. Every room has its own genre or approach. And you can buy one ticket and you can explore everything. And it's deliberately designed to be an exploratory experience. We want everyone walking through the streets of Brooklyn. It's located in the heart of Williamsburg and Bushwick. And we want you to walk down the street and see someone else and know that they have a BEMF pass. And they'll be like, oh, hey, where are you going? And follow them along. So there's a lot of discovery there. We have a music app that actually has a discovery section. So if you highlight the artist you like, it says, well, maybe you'll like these people too. You should check this out. As far as diversity, that's really important to us. We are a woman-owned festival. We're one of 2 women-owned festivals that I'm aware of. There hopefully are more. But we have
Soon.
a woman-run staff. So our head of social is a woman. We have 2 women owners. We have women producers. We have women managers. Sometimes we get some pressure for that to push out to the lineup, and we make sure that at least in every single room there's diversity in every way. But we are a reflection of our community, and so we push the community as well.
Thank you. Great. Cakes, you're a rapper, but you're also gay, which
Allegedly.
I don't know. That's what it said in the press release. That's what the guy was saying. So, which I know that sounds ridiculous, but historically, that style of music, if it had certain, homophobic association, I guess, and it was quite difficult. It was very. I think historically there were actually plenty of rappers who were gay, but they couldn't be open about it, right? And I think the dial has shifted a little bit in that, and there is actually quite a very vibrant kind of queer rap scene, but. I'm just quite interested to know how it was for you growing up and being into hip hop and being into that culture, and how reconciling that with your sexuality.
Well, for me, like growing up, because I'm black, rap was always like around. It's kind of like a staple in like your neighborhoods growing up. But for me, my ear gravitated more towards like disco and house music, which is why when you listen to a lot of my beats that I rap over, they're not really like the atypical boom bap, or I'm not gonna pump out like a trap type sound anytime soon, because my ear gravitates towards more dance music. But I can't sing, so I have to just rap. For me, starting to make music when I was in college, it was for like about the love that you're talking about. So the whole climate of homophobia in hip hop wasn't on my radar, because I didn't think I was gonna be doing TED Talks 5 years after the fact. So I was just, I'm being serious. I was just in my dorm room just writing, and then I got the chance to record, and that spawned like projects, which spawned tours and music videos, and now I'm here. So I think it's important as far as being visible and walking in my truth, because that's me like kind of tapping on the glass ceiling. But I really don't think about, homophobia or things like that, because that would kind of stifle me in a way. So yeah. I just do me.
Yeah. And very well.
Literally.
Have to. This project and the panel isn't about doing down men, but it is a thing. There is without a doubt an imbalance in the amount of DJs and artists who are female, and similarly the amount of women that work in the industry in senior positions. I mean, but I don't know if our industry is any worse than any other industry.
No, definitely not.
I think actually maybe it's kind of slightly better. It'd be
all I
interesting to know your thoughts.
so.
But I mean, do you think it's a boys' club or?
I must say, it's shifted. Yes, at the top, it's still white males for the most part, but there's those few in between that are really inspiring, that have broken through, and more there are more women, and I see, especially at the label I'm at right now, it's mainly women.
Is that artists, or is that people who work on the?
I would say both artists and my coworkers. So, and I don't even know if it was intentional, but tend to sign more female artists. But again, there's that added layer. If you start calling it, okay, I'm signing female artists, or a certain type of background of artist, then it makes them pigeonholed. And then if they have to talk about them being a woman in music or being a female artist in music. So there's such a fine line being a woman in the industry or on the other side, or having any sort of identity label. So a lot of my female artists have a hard time even, they don't want to talk about it necessarily, because then it's, oh, they're the feminist artist.
Yeah, which is tricky, I think. Sorry, you're nodding your head, Katie. Have you got something to add to that? Or?
I hear you. Like, I have a similar, I mean, it just sort of is what it is, and you have to find a way to communicate. Like, it's a struggle that I think a lot of us have, where we're in this space and you know, you want to meet people where they are, engage them, and get them to want to work with you, and then you pull them down into your messaging, and then they're just on the ride with you, right? So, you know, there are all of these women collectives and women DJs, and you know, I'm sitting here wearing a disc woman techno feminism shirt, but I think that it's really important for me. Like, you know, I wanted to be like, I'm just as good as every man who's sitting here. You know, I don't really need to identify myself as a woman to say that I'm good. But at the same time, if I don't, I'm not paving a way for the women that are coming up underneath me. Every break that I got up until my most recent one was from a woman. I was mentored by all women up until now, and even when I walked into this ad agency, Steve sat me down and said, I think you should be a black woman executive, and I want you to have that opportunity. So even he identified that he wanted to create that path and move it even more forward.
Yeah, and that's like the double-edged sword, because it's like you do kind of, it's all about the visibility and definitely paving the way. But then like the media, for me, it's like they kind of put you in a box where they want you to kind of appeal to just that consumer. And it's like, I'm not making music just for gay people. I'm just making music with a true narrative, and it just happens to be gay. So
And you want people to hear your music.
Right. Because all money is green, right? Ideally.
To come back to this project, you know, one of the major tenets of it is it's an artist and mentor program where we're trying to bring on 12 artists from a very diverse kind of background who all have, you know, different styles of music and different stories to tell, and ethnically diverse, sexually diverse, you know, gender diverse. But, you know, we were quite clear that our first criteria needs to be talent. So it's, I think, above everything else, you need to be talented, and then the other stuff kind of comes underneath that. But like you say, it's quite a tricky subject, because there's something there we need to talk about, but it's so easily misconstrued, or it's so easily kind of taken the wrong way, and can become quite negative quite quickly as well. So I think it's about stressing the positive side of stuff.
And sometimes it could just overshadow it, because so many times when you have conversations as like a female DJ or like a gay producer, the entire interview just becomes about the first part and not the actual talent and work. So that could be kind of annoying.
Yeah. Which people, artists, individuals inspire you and have kind of spurred you on to sort of do what you've done in your individual careers? Sorry, didn't prepare you for this, guys. So it's like, Katie?
I'll talk about a couple people. I'm a really big fan of the Black Madonna. If you guys aren't familiar, she's a really awesome DJ out of Chicago. And she is really well known for saying that like dance music is basically a form of activism. And I think a lot of music in general, like all kinds of genres of music, if you like go in deep, if you want to get deep with it, you know, they reflect community and they reflect society, and how music evolves is very much has activism roots. But you know, she was like, I want more Riot Girl in dance music, and you could expand that just to be like, we want to push boundaries. We want to push people to look at more things. We want to push people to talk about more things. And I think that that sort of ethos is really at the heart of what I like to do, no matter what I'm working on, is I push boundaries for a living in whatever I'm doing. I push every conversation. I push every experience I build. Like when I build an experience, I want someone to walk in a room and actually feel something. When I'm briefing my team, I'm like, I'm not talking about what color we're painting the wall. I'm talking about how the person feels when they walk out the door. What did we make them feel? How do we make them feel that? And what buttons did we push? And that's booking DJs. That's everyday conversations with people. And that's sort of what inspires me. The fact that she says that so publicly and owns that in her music, that's something that inspires me. And there's an entire community of innovative people, men and women around me in this community specifically that I hold true to. So as my corporate career continues to advance, I still go out at night. I still will always throw a party in a club because I have to have them with me. Like there's no point in me being there if I am not locking everything back down to the core values that I was given when I walked into that first club and found my people. So I think that's where I'm coming from.
Cakes?
For me, I think I gravitate towards a lot of people who like kind of break the mold and don't really fit the typical standard of like what a pop star looks like. So I'm thinking about people like Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott. When I discovered Sylvester, who was like this openly gay like disco artist, I was like, oh my God, like to be like basically femmed out in drag and be like on Joan Rivers' show was so like
Best.
like blowing my mind. Also, I remember growing up and like RuPaul had a talk show, and I just remember watching that and just being like, I cannot wait to be a grown woman. Like I can't. So definitely like people who just like play by their own rules and just bend it so they can get in the room and then shake it up. I like a lot of music like that. But day to day, I'm listening to Erykah Badu and like Anita Baker and drinking red wine.
What I can say, sort of to lean into what you said, this was a world that was inclusive for me. So when I was my weird artistic young self and I went trying to find my people, I found them in a nightclub. And everybody was down. It didn't matter where you came from, what you looked like, what you were about. Like, we were all just in it together because I was like appreciating sort of like the 90s and the underground music scene. It wasn't commercial, it wasn't pushed, it was the discovery, right? And then on the other side of it, you walk into a business meeting and maybe I don't aesthetically look like a traditional executive. I like that.
Round of applause for the panelists. Thank you very much. Love will save the day. Thanks a lot.